you think about all the conversations that we've had this year pertaining to the Mets, all right? And it's obviously been largely positive. It's been a great year so far. Are the Mets for real early on? And maybe I've asked that more than some others, but this was obviously a conversation.
Clearly they are.
So far they are. So far they are.
Clearly
they are. So far they are.
Okay.
3 weeks ago we thought the Yankees were unbeatable. Now the Yankees look like a C-level team.
No, the Yankees were not always unbeatable. They just kind of were mashing everything.
So, are the Mets for real? We talked about, can they sustain this high level of play? We talked about, can deGrom come back healthy? We talked about the prospects. We talk about, did they do enough at the deadline? Now, last night obviously looks as if they did. We'll see if that actually, how that bears itself out with the bullpen, lefty, whatever. Those have all been talking points for the Mets, right? Mm-hmm. What we haven't really brought to the table, and damn it, I'm bringing it to the table now. I'm going to ask a question, all right? And I'm going to let you answer it for Met fans. But I think you're going to be wrong, all right? What is the bare minimum level of achievement from the Mets this season to view this season as an absolute success? Not lamenting being like, you know what? It was a really good year. Mm-hmm. I feel good about this. I'm emboldened. I feel there's nothing left on the table.
Well, I got to tell you,
emotionally,
in some ways, this season has already been a success because the narrative on the Mets has changed, right? No matter what happens for the next, 30 games or 40 games till the season's over and they get into the postseason because they're going to make the postseason. This season has been a success because it feels different. Like the expectation going forward is now different. It's not, we had another 77-win season. We had another fourth-place finish in the division. That's not going to happen this year. You just know that. You feel it. You see it in games like last night against the Atlanta Braves where, even though they started to falter a bit, Edwin Diaz comes in and shuts things down. A 6-out save for him, which is something they hasn't regularly done, but Buck Showalter's feeling it. Edwin Diaz is feeling it. It feels different. So, in a lot of ways, this season is already a success for the New York Mets and their fans, I would say.
Is that really your answer?
It is.
That's not acceptable.
Now, this different with the expectation.
It's already a success.
Think about where this team was at the beginning. What was the expectation for the Met fan at the beginning of the season?
I think Met fans were fairly hyped. You had Buck coming in. You had deGrom, who was throwing 101 his first outing in the spring. You had Scherzer. And you had Alonso. You had Lindor with a bounce back. I think Met fans were fired up.
Met fans were, yes. I kind of remember Mets fans saying Lindor sucks, get him out of here. But it sucks we have him for 10 more years. This season hasn't even started yet. Mm-hmm. Jacob deGrom was hurt away.
He wasn't hurt when he came back in the spring. He was throwing 101 out of the chute. I'm talking about when they went to Port St. Lucie.
Did he start the season?
No, but that's not what I'm talking about.
But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the start of the season when the Mets fans started. What was their expectation?
Well, if you want to get literal,
I'm being literal.
Okay, well then McGill pitched a gem, and everybody's like, whoa, we have another pitcher. Okay, there you go.
Before McGill took them out. I'm talking about when you're leading up to the season.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Going in, deGrom.
It was tempered, right? It was, we're going to be good.
I think it was optimistic. What do you mean? It was optimistic.
I don't know. It depends on what Met fan you talk to.
Well, I mean, maybe. So there's always fluctuations. But
my point is,
yes,
the story has changed on the Mets. They spent a lot of money this offseason. They spent a lot of money last offseason. Mm-hmm. They've got relevant players. They've got consistently good players. Even if people want to hate on
before, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
And collapsed.
But it hasn't led to the success that you have after 100.
You're not answering the question.
I told you what my answer to the question was.
At the end of the season, obviously everybody's feeling good. Stop tap dancing around the question.
I'm not. I told you.
When we get to October,
they're 105 games in.
I understand that.
67 wins, 38 losses.
If we can talk about whether or not the Yankees can win a World Series, you better believe we can talk about what we expect from this Mets team. It's time to at least put this on the table. So I'm going to ask you again, and maybe after 3 minutes of tap dancing, maybe you could actually answer the question.
With 57 games left in the season, and anybody, tell me a Met fan that said, yeah, we're going to be 30 games over 500 with 50-something games left.
No, but I'm not going to debate you on that, Teak. But we're past that.
Yes.
So I'm moving the goalpost, admittedly. So we are in late-ish October, early November, all right? Mm-hmm. The Mets season plays out however it's going to play out. I'm going to ask you again. What is the bare minimum? And I'll give you my answer in a moment. Level
Well, give
of
me your answer.
I will.
I'm telling you.
I want yours first.
I told you the Mets
But you
season
keep
is
telling me
already
that they didn't think they were going to be good. They're good. They're good. We know
they
that.
would be good.
They're good.
Nobody thought the
But
Mets
we're
were
past that.
But nobody thought the Mets were going to be 30 games over 500 with 57 games left
That's
to go
not
in this
the
season.
question,
So
Tiki.
this season has been a success.
No. Okay.
Already. This
Okay,
season
is that
has
your
been
answer?
a success. It is my
Okay,
answer.
I got you.
Now,
Okay,
is the
okay.
expectation is the goal line move? Sure.
Well, then,
But
okay.
this season has been a success.
This
without a
season
doubt.
has been a success. All right. Yes, it's been a success to this point. But that's not my question. Again, we're in early November. Here's the bottom line. If the Mets lose in the wild card, which I think they'll probably fend off the Braves, unless that was a great start.
They're not playing in the wild
No,
card.
I don't think they are either. I'm not trying to turn this into a negative. Mets look really good. And by the way, as a quick aside, John Heyman had a tweet this morning, and I never really looked at it this way, and there is precedent here. The Tigers had this during the 84 season, a few others. He's actually thinking that Diaz should get some MVP votes. Not win, but be on the short list. And I got to tell you, it's hard to refute that, just when you really think about that.
He is not wrong, BT.
I agree. But just to stay on point, if the Mets don't, at the very least, get to the deep portion, and this is like bare minimum, to the deep portion of the NLCS, meaning they advance past the wild card and or NLDS, and it'll probably be the latter. And listen, you might run into the Dodgers, you might run into the Padres. Those teams are stacked. Anything can happen. Ground ball, wacky something, injury. If the Mets don't at least have a highly competitive NLCS with depth, there's nobody on this planet that can tell me this season is a success. Stop lowering the bar.
I'm not lowering the bar.
No, I'm talking to general.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't want to hear 6 months, and I don't want to be inundated for 6 months on the fan. The Mets are this, the Mets are that, the Mets are this, the Mets should do this, the Mets are better than the Yankees, Mets have this, Mets have that, and then all of a sudden, conveniently, explain away if you come up woefully short in October, it was still a success, because it would not be.
Well, I mean,
that is a compliment to the Mets, by the way.
It is obviously a compliment because they've been amazing, but I still can't. If you just take the snapshot of preseason to where they are right now and where they're going to be in the postseason, you were saying this Mets team is a success. Stevie Cohen has effectively done exactly what he needed to do to change the conversation around the New York Mets. It's no longer woe is me, right? And sometimes we get those callers that give us the woe is me Mets. Like, oh, this is going to happen. Hey, Hoff did it last week or earlier this week.
Oh, like the Benigno angle.
That's right. Like, oh, this is going to happen. Oh, you
Love
just
you,
know
Joe.
that. Oh, just know this. Like, I can't hear that anymore.
I'm with you.
Because when I hear the Mets, when I think about the Mets, I think, man, this team is fun as hell to watch. I mean, man, Buck Showalter is freaking awesome. Right, how he motivates his team. We were just talking before the show how he sets his lineup. You get a right-handed pitcher coming in, pitching for the Braves last night. He throws lefty, righty, then lefty at him till the end of the line. I mean, it's just amazing how he puts pressure on these guys, on opposing teams with just simple lineup configuration. So you got the right skip. You got a ton of great players, Pete Alonso being one, Francisco Lindor being another one. You did right at the trade deadline. Nobody thought Naquin was going to be a multi-home run guy in a game. He hits 2 last night. So, when I think about this Mets team, I say success. It's positive already in my mind. This season has been a success. Now you've changed the endpoint. You pushed it to a different level. Now go chase that.
Okay, 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that at Town Fair you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. We're going to get to these calls in a second. Let me take you through the scale, the evolution of fandom pertaining to a team that has historically been down. Okay, it goes from hopeful. Okay.
Yep.
To cautiously optimistic, to confident, to greedy. And the Met fan
should be getting greedy.
Must be. No, not should be. They are greedy.
That's funny.
And they should be greedy. Hopeful right now is where the Jet fans are.
Yeah.
The hopeful. Well, you got all these players. Maybe this happens. We're hopeful. Say if the Jets, beat the Ravens and then beat the Browns without Deshaun Watson. Whoa, now we're cautiously optimistic. And then maybe you keep playing well. Now we're flat out confident. And then if this happens, then we're in late November, December. I'm greedy. Now I know I have a good team. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I mean that's where they are right now. The Mets should be getting greedy right now.
They should be.
Because the season has already been a success. Now go get greedy.
Now I want to, before we get these calls, I want to give you, I don't even know if he could speak, because let me just give you a little thumbnail sketch on our boy Hoff, who is an in the trench worker, which is why I like him. All right, so every day, right, he's in around 8 o'clock or so. Our show starts at 10. We're doing the show prep, structuring the show, blah, 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 right? So yesterday he comes in, like every other day when he's here. I'm just kidding. So he's in around 8 o'clock yesterday. We set the show. We do the show. He stays all day, right? He stays all day. He watches. Now, he stays through the Carton Roberts show. He's wandering the streets of Manhattan doing Lord knows what. He comes back. He watches the Mets here, okay? He goes on the air here, not a podcast, hosts, from 11 p.m. until 5 a.m. this morning.
Wow.
Hands it off to the what's it called again? The warm-up show.
Yeah, warm-up show.
Hands it off to the warm-up. I actually knew that. It just escaped me. Hands off to the warm-up show. And now he's right back there, and he's producing. Did not go home. Did not shower. Barely slept. All because this man expects the Mets to win a World Series.
Damn right I do. The expectations are bigger than ever before. And I said that before the season started. I said the Mets can win without Jacob deGrom, and now he's back. Expectations have to be World Series.
Now, what happens if they don't? Are you disappointed?
Yes, that is the question.
Is it a failure? Is it a disappointing?
Yes, of course it's a failure.
Thank you.
It has to be a failure.
This season is already a success.
No.
Stop saying that.
It is.
That's such a, I don't mean that. You're going to take this, but that's such a loser mentality.
No, it's not.
It is a loser mentality.
The Mets needed to change
loser
who they
mentality.
were. The Mets needed to change who and what they were, what they represented, what they presented to the public.
Listen,
what they presented to the public. It has changed.
What they present to the public. What do you mean?
It's changed.
But hold on, Tiki. Listen,
hold on, Hop.
Yeah.
It has not changed
until
It has.
It already has.
It
already has.
This is a profound statement.
Go ahead.
Bumper sticker time.
Go ahead.
It has not changed until it changes.
Yes.
No. And Met fans know what I'm saying.
Yes.
No, they do. 2006 Wainwright, 2007 collapse, 2008 collapse, 2000 World Series, Timo Perez not running. You're not wrong now, but it does not change until it changes. And if it doesn't change, it's not a success.
Last 5 years, 77 wins.
Don't care.
Third in the division.
Don't care.
26 wins the 2020 season.
Don't care.
But it doesn't matter. It's only 60 games. They were 8 games under 500. 86 wins, third in the division.
Don't care.
77 wins, fourth in the division.
Means nothing.
70 wins, fourth in the division. 87 wins back in 2016. That was the year after they went to the World Series, but they lost in the wild card round, and Jerry's Familia got the crap knocked out of him in the first inning, and he didn't make it out. He did get through the first inning, but he got chased after that. That is the last 6 years for the Mets.
Now, let me give you the last 60.
That's
because you gave me the last 6.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter with this fan base.
The same.
With this fan base, it matters.
It's changed.
Okay?
It's been a success.
We presented our case. You heard what Teague said. You heard what I said. You heard what Hoff said. You're the Met fan. What do you say? 877-337-6666. Let's go to Freehold. Eric first up on the fan. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
All right. What's up, Eric?
Listen, before I get to my Met point real quick, Tiki, I got to give you your props because a couple of weeks ago I called you. You were flying solo.
Yep.
And I was the one that was wondering why switch hitters insist on switch hitting when they're batting 100 points lower.
That's right.
Right. I used Escobar as an example, and you said to me, well, sometimes the lower batting average side is the better power side.
That's right.
And a half hour after said that Escobar hit one to the second deck against Atlanta.
Well, there you go.
And I was laughing.
I predicted it. I made it happen.
My boy Tiki got it.
I channeled it. I made that happen.
Tiki Damas.
You made that happen. That was so funny.
That's funny.
So listen,
Let's go.
I'm in the minority here. I'm as a Mets fan, but I was really happy that the Mets didn't trade a couple of 22 or 22-year-old prospects for a 35, 36-year-old rental that's past their prime.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when C.B. Cohen took over, and he said he kind of wanted to be the East Coast version of the Dodgers. But it wasn't just that he also wanted to have the highest payroll like they did, but he wanted to have a minor league system that was heavily stocked. And I think that does two things. Number one, when you have a Soto or a Tani or whoever that becomes available, it allows you to have a lot of guys to offer without stripping your system down completely. And also, I don't mind the fact that in come spring training, when you got some guys that are maybe getting a little long in the tooth, that you have a pipeline.
All right, very good. That's what. Listen, stop. I got to stop you. Answer the question. I need an answer to the question.
Okay.
I need an answer to the question.
What's the question?
What is the question? Did you listen to the start of what is the question?
Yeah. Well, how far do you think they can go?
No, not how far do you think. Anybody can ask that question. What I'm asking is, what is a baseline of minimal achievement this year? What do you need to see happen for you to walk away and you say, you know what, I'm content and I'm ready to roll for the next season? For me, it's at least getting to the NLCS. If you guys get dumped in the NLDS, failure.
No, I agree with you. Listen, I think the Mets are in a position now where they don't have to be afraid of anybody. Respect everybody, but be afraid of nobody. I could actually see them in the World Series this year for sure. Okay. With the pitching that they have.
So is that if they don't get there, is it a disappointment? That's the question. That's what BT's trying to get out of Mets fans.
If the Mets don't get to the World Series this year, I would be disappointed. But you'd have to say if they get to the World Series or they go deep, that it was a successful season compared to the last few years.
Sure. No, that's right. I got you on that. That's where I'm going.
By the way, that's my point.
All right, finally answered.
People want to get to the World Series.
Well, everybody wants to get to the World Series.
I'm disappointed we didn't win the World Series. It's a colossal failure. Nobody's saying that. Everybody will say, we got knocked out by the San Diego Padres, who, by the way, might be the best on paper team in baseball right now, right? Because of how all the additions they made at the deadline. And we'll see what happens going forward. The Mets lose to the Padres in the DL and the NLDS. They're going to say, it's a failure.
I am.
I'm not.
Okay.
It's a success.
I am.
You've had a successful season.
I don't think
that.
Well, listen, hang the banner then. Yay, we were successful. We were interesting for 6 months, and then we didn't do anything when it mattered.
It's better than being uninteresting for the last 2 months of the season like the Mets have been for the last 5 years.
Fair enough on that. But see, this to me is a very interesting point of reflection and from a psychological point of view, and I don't know what the other Met fans are going to say, and we're going to get all these calls here in a moment. Trust me, you guys are speaking loud, and hopefully you can actually answer the question when we get to the calls and stop beating around the bush. And I love Eric, but answer the question, because this to me is a very interesting question. Psychologically, right? I don't think that you can say and I don't think it's a front. I think Met fans have great conviction. Sometimes you convince yourself that you're better than you are. I think the Met fan does and should really believe that they've got a real chance to win it all this year. And if you believe that now, you are, unless there's catastrophic injuries, God forbid, you are not allowed to say in October, we lost in 5 to the Padres. It was still a good year in the NLDS. Nonsense. That is not being an authentic fan. That is not the way it goes. You can't have it both ways. Now, the Knicks a couple of years ago, they overachieved, empty buildings. Yeah, we were pissed when Trae Young danced all over us at the Garden, but we realized it was overachievement. It was kind of smoke and mirrors. It was gimmicky. It was hokey. It was like, whoa, no, that's not what we're talking about with the 2022 Mets. So that's where I'm at. You guys either go real far or you did nothing this season. 877-337-6666. You want to be like the Yankees? You want to beat the Yankees? You want to talk down to the Yankee fans when you beat them? As you should. It's all fun. Then you got to start to comport yourself from a state of mind like a Yankee fan, and that is expecting to win.